You're listening to the official Minnesota Wild podcast, presented by Acrisure.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays from all of us at the Minnesota Wild.
Ho, ho, ho.
Don't go anywhere. I'm joining shortly to recap everything from this one on the Minnesota Wild postgame show. But first, from the Bob Kurtz Radio Center, here's Kevin Fulnes.
Final 10 seconds here in St. Paul. Listen to this crowd on a Saturday afternoon. Make it 7 in a row in the win column for the Minnesota Wild. It's a franchise record 14-game home ice point streak in the process as they dump the Oilers 5-2 here in St. Paul.
Yeah, they just keep adding to the totals. Now 19-3-2 since November 1st. And yeah, their second 7-game win streak of the year. But this one were all of them in regulation, including today. They take down the Edmonton Oilers 5-2 at Grand Casino Arena. Kevin Fulnes downstairs in the Bob Kurtz Radio Center, upstairs in the Al Shaver press box. That train just keeps rolling along, Tom. Today they take down the Oilers, and 5-2 is the final score.
Very hard-fought contest for Minnesota to get the 2 points in this one. But once again, Kevin, that first goal of the game gives them a little more energy, and that's where they have been very good all season long. When they score the first goal of the game now, their record in 23 games is 17-3-3 in that stretch, so that helps. But I just thought, the guys did what they had to do, and Edmonton threw everything at them they possibly could, but the goaltender for Minnesota was so strong in that game. Gustafsson was so good again today. Did what he had to do, and the guys responded to the challenge that they had from that locker room.
Superstars tend to grab the headlines, and for the Wild, we're going to talk a lot about Quinn Hughes coming onto this Wild team. Kirill Kaprizov, definitely a game changer. Holy smokes, one of the best in the world. But I wonder if Matt Boldy's fallen a little bit under the radar. 2 goals again tonight, 7 goals and 14 points in the last handful of games. That's all in December. In the 10 games of December, 7 goals and 14 points. What kind of a run is this kid on?
Well, he's on a great run, and you're absolutely right. You look at it and you think, who's a better player in Minnesota right now? The way that Kaprizov has played, I don't think he's elevated his game where it should be at this stage of the game. But Boldy certainly has, and should be recognized for that. I mean, he just continues to shine for Minnesota, and hopefully that will continue because they have another tough game tomorrow, and everybody has to have all hands on board for that one.
I want to ask you about one more forward threat, and it's going to be the guy who gets the eventual game winner, probably our Grand Casino play of the game, and that, of course, is Ryan Hartman. In the dying seconds of a Wild first period, puts the Wild on top, and now he's got 4 goals in his last 5 contests.
He is so good, and I made a couple notes on him myself. The fact that he doesn't get rattled anymore. He's got his composure on the ice and even on the bench. He's not running around and trying to be that tough guy, but he can be tough. If you challenge him, he will meet the match. There's no question. But I just like the way he's been able to handle that center ice position, making good plays, getting points, winning draws. I mean, all of those things go into making Minnesota a very successful team at this point in the season. Long way to go here yet, but the guys are playing well. They got the puck going north. Their penalty killing's been good for the most part. I mean, you look at the goals they're scoring. Everyone is contributing, and I think three of the guys who were on the injured reserve come back to play in this game out of the 5 that got picked up points tonight.
Yeah, that's huge. To get this team as close to healthy as they've been in what feels like forever, that's great. And it feels like since November 1st, not only are the Wild winning games, they're winning big games against big opponents. They've been up to the challenge. Today's a great example. They did it against Dallas. They did it against the Colorado Avalanche on Black Friday. Not many teams have been able to claim a victory of any kind against the Avalanche. They've lost just 2 games in regulation this season, Tom, and they're here tomorrow. What a matchup within the Central Division.
Yeah, they're a good hockey club. There's no question. They're well coached, but they're a good, solid team with some real firepower. So Minnesota has to be at their best tomorrow.
All right, Tom, we will talk to you tomorrow. Enjoy your evening and enjoy your Saturday night.
Thank you, Kevin. See you tomorrow.
Tom Reed in the Al Shaver press box following a 5-2 win over the Edmonton Oilers. 7 consecutive victories in regulation. Wild now have 22 wins on the season. Quick look at the Central Division standings. The Wild in 3rd place. They've got 49 points. Next are the Dallas Stars. They've got just 4 points in front of the Wild with 53. And then, of course, the mighty Colorado Avalanche right there at the top. They've won 4 in a row, and they've got 57 points. So 8 points separate the Wild and the first-place Avalanche. We'll see what the measuring stick looks like tomorrow in St. Paul as the Wild take on the Avs at Grand Casino Arena. We'll take a break, and then we'll get you Joe O'Donnell down by the Wild locker room, John Hynes postgame comments, and more. This is Wild Hockey, presented by Grand Casino.
One-on-one, left to back Middleton, back to Hartman to score! Oh, a give and go! That was 6 seconds to go in the frame. Hartman has put the Wild back in front. Post-game show continues. Joe O'Donnell here with you. The Wild beat the Oilers 5-2. The winning streak at 7, joined by Wild defenseman Jake Middleton. First of all, nice to have you back. How'd you feel?
Good. It was good. Nice to get back in action.
When you're out, what's the hardest thing about being away?
Just get kind of bored. Miss the guys.
I'm sure they missed you too. Boy, another team comes in here that's got a ton of skill. We know about McDavid and Draisaitl. Talk for a minute about the collective effort to slow those guys down in particular.
Yeah, they got McDavid and Draisaitl, but we got Jimmy and Fabe, so it's a nice way to combat it.
How'd you feel about your game today?
Good. Yeah, it was nice to get back in action. I thought Yuri and I had a good stretch, and nice to get a cookie off Hartsey there.
If I'm not mistaken, you two really haven't played together at all. I mean, practice sessions, whatever, but when you have a newer defense partner, how do you try to ease in that chemistry?
Just keep it simple. Put it in the forwards' hands and play north and keep good gaps. All those cliches we talk about daily, but those are what works when you got a new partner.
What's impressed you the most about now this second 7-game winning streak?
We roll, we work hard, we're extremely competitive, we care not only about the outcome of the game, but about the guy next to you, and I think that goes a long way through an 82-game season. You talk so much, or teams talk so much about being hard to play against. I'm guessing right now you feel like your team is hard to play against. Why? I mean, yeah, when you got I don't know if you can call them a shutdown line of Joel Eriksson, Johansson, and Boldy, who are they're just dogs on both ends of the ice. That's a good way to go about getting some wins in the column. Let's walk through that first period goal. You guys jump out to a 2-0 lead. Oilers tie it, and then it's late in the period, and you could have easily just ragged it to the end of the first period there. But what'd you see on the play that eventually turned out to be the game winner? I didn't know the time on the clock, personally. Not until we scored and I looked up for the face-off. But no, it was just Hartsey. It was a nice give and go. He saw me coming in late and got in behind their defenseman, and I tried to just thread it through and find him. Avalanche in town here tomorrow. Again, more high-end skill. They've only lost 2 games in regulation as we near Christmas. That's shocking in its own right. What challenges do they present? Kind of the same, similar as tonight. They got some powerhouses up front and a good defenseman, and we just got to put pucks behind them and try and make them play in the defensive zone most of the game. Great to have you back. Thanks for doing this. Congrats on the win. Thanks, Joe. See ya. That's Wild defenseman Jake Middleton. Back to you, Kevin.
How about that, Joe? I know this team isn't at full strength, but this is as close as they've been for a long time. When you saw that in the pregame skate, that 5 bodies were returning to the lineup, it felt great as a broadcaster. I'm sure John Hynes was smiling very broadly inside. Yeah, I think it's one of those situations where you hope the team continues to play the same way no matter who's in the lineup, right? That's what coaches and players always talk about, but there's no denying that the Wild needed to get some of their regulars back. You see what it does from a slotting perspective as far as the depth and the forward ranks and just how good their defense can be when you start to get guys back. So a couple more still banged up right now, but nice to see some of those guys back and contributing right off the hop. All right, thank you. Enjoy the night. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, Kevin. Joe O'Donnell down with Jake Middleton for joining us in the postgame show. Jake Middleton will get a gift certificate down to Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub. A quick break, and then we'll get you more from St. Paul when we continue. Following a 5-2 win over the Edmonton Oilers, your Wild have won 7 straight. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Grand Casino.
Nugent Hopkins to the point. Ekholm, Terry shot block. It's a clean break for Boldy. Matt Boldy in alone on Pickard. Made a movie score!
Oh, what a move.
Roll up top Hughes. Right side Boldy. A one-timer score! 2 in the opening period for Boldy. This one on the power play. And the Wild have a 2-0 lead.
21st and 22nd of the season for Matt Boldy, who's been on fire, like we mentioned with Tom Reed. Goals in 4 straight games. That's 5 goals in the last 4 contests. Second time this season he's had a 4-game streak of goals in consecutive outcomes. And in the month of December, he's been on fire. 7 goals, 14 points in the 10 games of this final month of 2025. Speaking of Matt Boldy, one of the stars of tonight's contest down at Center Ice with Kirsten Kroll.
A big 5-2 victory over the Edmonton Oilers for your Minnesota Wild here today with 2 goals from Matt Boldy. Matt, you guys push your win streak to 7 straight games, and you guys set a franchise record here today with 14 points straight in the last 14 home games. What has been working so well for this group?
Yeah, everyone's playing, everyone's making a difference throughout the whole lineup, which that makes us hard to play against when everyone's going.
And you guys get a number of players back from injury today. You continue to roll. How excited has it been to play with this group?
Yeah, it's been great. To get those guys back is huge for our team in every way. So, it's been changes in the lineups, ups and downs, but everyone's been pulling their weight.
And the excitement in this fan base continues to grow game by game. It's evident today with another sellout game here at Grand Casino Arena. Anything you want to say to this fan base?
Keep it up. Keep showing up. It's been a lot of fun.
Matt, thank you so much. Congratulations on the win here. 7 straight wins for your Minnesota Wild.
There you go. Thank you, Kirsten. Thank you, FanDuel Sports Network. And thank you, Matt Boldy. We got to get to John Hynes. He's addressing the media first. We got to pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Grand Casino. And with that, here's John Hynes in progress.
Winning the way that you guys have to get 5 guys back and take your foot off the gas, take a breath of fresh air. But it really felt like there was no part of the game tonight where you guys did that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's, like the mindset of the team, as you said. I think sometimes you always caution on that if you get a bunch of players back. But I think it was more the guys that have been in the lineup are still, hungry to win. And it was almost like invigorating for them to get some of their teammates back. And then I think the guys that are coming into the lineup, they want to, work really excited and worked hard to get back. And I think the combination led to, and also the opponent we were playing too. I think, we knew we had to be at our best to be able to beat this team. And I thought from that standpoint, it was solid all around.
How good just was it felt like you had a hard match with Eck against McDavid tonight, and mostly Hughes and Faber. A lot of times we'll see Brodin out there for that. What made you go with that matchup on the back end?
Just to see, obviously Ecky's line was the hard match on that, and then with Draisaitl's line, we flipped around a couple different lines as much. But I think when you hard match like that, I don't want to have to hard match 2 or 3 lines, because then I think it takes players out of the rhythm, particularly up front. And then on the back end, we felt like it was, Hughes, he's a good player, he's a top end guy in the league, and he can skate as well. So I think the 2 pairs of you feel like you can play against either one of those 2 lines.
What was better defensively, second, third, just to completely shut them down?
I thought that I would probably say from a structural standpoint, I thought the third was pretty solid. I thought that structurally we were good. I thought in the second, though, we panicked a little bit with the puck and we had some turnovers, and that led to, I think, some territory time by them. But from that, I thought in that particular part of the game, we were very strong at our net front. I thought in the third, we were overall a little bit better, and I thought that stemmed from better puck play as well. We didn't get caught tired, or we didn't get caught in inopportune situations where you're going to get stressed attacks and give up chances.
How important is that can't drift? The team scoring 5 goals a night minimum since Quinn's been here, but you can't lose those. You don't want to be a 6-5 team, right? So
yeah, I think the guys really take pride in keeping the puck out of our net as well. So when you play with, they're committed to play the structure. They know their jobs, they're committed to it, and that's really driven from them. That you want to be able to score from good defense into offense. I think now that when you know that you have some firepower to score, that you don't have to chase it. You just keep playing the game the right way, and you earn your opportunities, and that's what we've been doing as of late.
Just to clarify, when you were scrambling the lines the last 5 minutes of the second, that was because of what you were seeing with the turnovers and things like that?
No, it was a little tricky. It was just, I felt like some guys were sitting, and just the way that it played out. So I was just trying to get a few guys up and going versus sitting at certain times. I think that's sometimes as a game goes on, when you have, the 4 lines that we had, and then you're going sometimes it's dictated too, like, whether McDavid's line was coming out or they were coming up again. Sometimes guys sit a little bit, so I was just trying to make sure that I can keep everybody involved going down to, the end of the second, but then we were good in the third. Line stayed the same, and we were able to roll them.
What have you seen from Tarasenko since he came back from the injury? I mean, he just seems like a different player, like the way he's shot.
Yeah, Vladdy, I think he's skating really well. He's ultra competitive. He's getting his shot off. I think from an offensive standpoint, he's skating well. He's making plays. He's shooting the puck. I felt since he's gotten here, his responsibility and his play without the puck from a defensive standpoint has always been strong. I think now he's just getting, rewarded for his hard work, and I think there's a little bit of jump in his step now that he's got some pop to his legs, and he's explosive, and he's getting himself some great opportunities. He's been a big difference maker for us.
Are you amazed, like Brodin, there were those couple times that he got there out against McDavid and just made 3 or 4 unbelievable plays. Are you amazed that this guy can continue to miss games and yet come back in without a practice and look like he did before?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost in a weird way, it's almost what you expect. It's you don't see it as much where a player comes off an injury or hasn't had any practice time or very little skating, and as you said, I think pops into a game and can play against top players and play hard minutes of the game, and he just picks up where he left off. I mean, it's he's got a talent for that for sure.
Was it just the way the schedule worked out that you got 5 back today, or do you think there was some urgency, like Edmonton, Colorado this weekend? Like, those are games you want to be in, so maybe they were like, get back for this.
Yeah, you know what? It's a good question, but honestly, no. It really comes down to the players, what their timetables were. Fortunately, it worked out that way for us. But I do think that players were, regardless of who we were playing. Does the weekend magnify that? Yeah, I think it does up guys wanting to be able to play. But it all has to come back to whether they're truly ready to be able to play. But it's nice that it worked out that way for us.
Do you expect Bogosian tomorrow?
No.
Yes, we're hearing that tomorrow.
Yes.
It is the opposite of what we normally see when you play these big teams. Usually you're, right before you lose 5-6 guys.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. That's the last one. Yeah, a little different. So
anything else for Coach?
There you go. The head coach of the Minnesota Wild riding off into the sunset, getting ready for tomorrow's Central Division collision against the Colorado Avalanche. And, like they said, we found out in the pregame that 5 guys were coming back from injury. Marcus Johansson missed 2 games. He comes in and delivers an assist. Matt Zuccarello missed 5. He comes in and delivers a pair of points. He's now got 2 goals and 14 points in the 16 games that he's played this season. He comes in, has an impact. Vinny Hinostroza played a decent hockey game. He missed 13 games with a lower body injury. He ended up with a block shot for his efforts. Jonas Brodin, always great to have him back out there. 4 games with a lower body injury, a +2, 19 minutes and 5 seconds of ice time, and 2 block shots. And then, of course, Jake Middleton, who Joe O'Donnell talked to lead off the post-game show, he missed 5 games with an injury. He, too, had an assist, that fancy give-and-go with Ryan Hartman. That was your Grand Casino play of the game, presented by Grand Casino, where Minnesota comes to play. Visit GrandCasino.com to plan your next visit. Wild aren't 100% healthy, but this is as close as they've been in what seems like forever and a day. So it's good. They're starting to get healthy, going into the holiday break. Still 2 games to go, including tomorrow when the Wild host the Central, Western, and NHL leading Colorado Avalanche. We'll preview that and get you some more reaction from this one. Following a 5-2 win over the Oilers, you're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Grand Casino.
Yeah, I mean, obviously really nice to get those guys back. They're crucial parts of the team, so I thought we played really well tonight, defended hard. Obviously, they had their pushes, but, those guys over there do that.
That's the new guy, Quinn Hughes. 3 points in 4 games with the Minnesota Wild, and he's undefeated since joining the squad here in the state of hockey. Quinn Hughes sees the Wild beat up the Edmonton Oilers tonight. 5-2 was your final. The XL Energy big saves of the game are going to go to the Wild Swedish goaltender. Well, that doesn't narrow it down. Well, it wasn't Jesper Wallstedt. The rookie didn't play tonight. No, instead they turned to the red-hot Philip Gustafsson. He made big saves like this.
Ekholm's shot, not much behind it. Ricochet free. Draisaitl stopped by
Gustafsson, a pad save, squeezing his legs and hanging on with 2.5 to go.
The Gus Bus, 28 saves total to get the victory. Yeah, the Wild have won 7 in a row. Philip Gustafsson has won 5 straight. He's also 8-1-1 in his last 10 starts. Tonight, or today, Gustafsson stops 16 in the first, 6 in the second, 10 more in the third. 28 saves total for Philip Gustafsson, who locks down the XL Energy. Big saves of the game, powered by XL Energy. XL Energy is proud to power the great state of hockey with safe, clean, and reliable energy. Explore how they're making energy work better for you and our communities at XLEnergy.com. We'll wrap things up and get you ready for the Wild and Avalanche next. This is Wild Hockey, presented by Grand Casino.
Good weekend for us so far, and we want to continue that. Obviously, they've been winning a lot, and so have we, and we have a chance to kind of gain some ground.
Ryan Hartman, if you can complete the weekend sweep, what 4 points that would be. They already did half of it. Today they beat the Edmonton Oilers 5-2. Now, to get the sweep, they got to take on the red-hot division, conference, and league-leading Colorado Avalanche. That'll be tomorrow in St. Paul. Right now in St. Paul is Jonas Brodin addressing the media. He's back after missing 4 games with injury. Let's see what number 25 thinks about this one.
Coming up, but to play Edmonton, then Colorado.
Yeah.
You guys are in the marquee matchups in the league right now because of where you guys are in the standings. Do you look forward to those games? Like tomorrow night, that's a game you circle on the calendar.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, those the games we want to win. Against those teams. I think Colorado. What do they have? 2 losses now in full time. So it would be nice to get a win tomorrow. And but they're a great team, and so we're looking forward for that tomorrow. So it's. That's the games you want to win for sure.
Won 6 in a row with all you guys coming back. Is there a feeling like, boy, we got to keep this rolling, we can't screw it up?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I thought, for sure, you don't want to come in and screw it up. They were playing really good. So to have been watching the game, so we were flying. So, but I thought a little rusty first period, but I thought better the game came on. I think. Yeah, thank you.
There you go, Jonas Brodin. Again, missed 4 games with a lower body injury. Comes in and had just over 19 minutes of ice time. Was a +2 and a couple of blocked shots. He's one of the reasons why the Wild are able to keep guys like Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid at arm's length. The combination of him and Joel Eriksson do a wonderful job to limit some of the superstars across the National Hockey League. And if you want some confirmation of that, go ask Draisaitl and McDavid what he thinks about those 2 in particular, Jonas Brodin and Joel Eriksson. But just one of 5 guys that filtered back into the lineup before this one. The Wild went to Columbus the other night and were without 7 regulars. 5 of them return tonight, and it helps the Wild get the 5-2 win over the Edmonton Oilers. Your Wild now 22-9-5, still 3rd place in the Central Division, and hard to make up ground, right? When the other teams in this division keep winning as well. That's the Dallas Stars. They've won 3 in a row. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10. The Avalanche, they've won 4 in a row. In fact, they rarely lose. They've won 4 in a row. They're 8-1-1 in their last 10. They've only lost twice in regulation all season long. But still, the Wild, all they can do is take care of themselves, and that's what they're doing. They've won 7 in a row. They're 19-3-2 since November 1st. They've won 5 straight at home, and now they've got a franchise record 14-game point streak at Grand Casino Arena since November 1st. They've gone 12-0-2 on #OurIce. They're up 2-0 on the season series against the Edmonton Oilers. They've won 13 of 17 in the series dating back to 2019. They've also won 7 of 9 at Grand Casino Arena. Philip Gustafsson will get the victory. His 5th straight. He improves to 12-8-3. Today he gets it done on 28 saves. So that's a game recap of another win for the Wild as they beat up on the Edmonton Oilers. 5-2 is the final. Up next, like we said, part 2 of this wonderful weekend in St. Paul. It'll be a Central Division collision as the Wild hosts the Colorado Avalanche. The Wild got the best of the Avalanche on Black Friday, a 3-2 shootout win in which that included Jesper Wallstedt denying both McKinnon and Makar in the shootout. Looks like Jesper Wallstedt will be between the pipes tomorrow, and he's got his work cut out for him, as does everyone with this Minnesota Wild team, because the Avalanche are incredible. Winners of 4 in a row and a ridiculous 25-2-7 record on the season. Should be a fun one. Another fun one tomorrow, late afternoon, early evening. Pregame at 4:45. Puck drops just after 5 o'clock on most of these same stations. Special thanks to Alexis Huss, Aaron Sickman, Jackson Riebel, Dylan Daniel, and Helvey. And for Joe O'Donnell and Tom Reed, I'm Kevin Fallness. Can we look forward to an 8th consecutive victory? You do your part. If you're in the arena, great. Make some noise. If you're not, push your ear as close to that speaker as you possibly can, because we're bringing the thunder on the Minnesota Wild Radio Network. You do your part and listen to Joe O'Donnell and Tom Reed call all the action, and we'll do it for you tomorrow on the Minnesota Wild Radio Network.
You've been listening to Minnesota Wild Hockey.
Through one in front, they score! Marcus Johansson out of midair, tipped it home!
Join us next time, right here, for more Wild Hockey action.
Center, they score!
Have a safe and happy holiday season.
Wild Hockey is an exclusive presentation of the Minnesota Wild,
the National Hockey League, and the Minnesota Wild Radio Network.
For an extraordinary advantage in sports, you need a game plan. For an extraordinary advantage everywhere else, all you need is Acrisure. With a high-tech human approach to insurance, cybersecurity, and more, Acrisure helps you take care of what you care about. That makes winning easy. See what Acrisure's extraordinary advantage can do for you at Acrisure.com.